welcome to my creative space. Thank you so much for being here today. Welcome to another DIY video. If you love to DIY, I would love for you to be part of my creative squad. So don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any videos. And without further ado, let's get started. For this DIY, I'm gonna take this Dollar Tree sign and I'm gonna remove the tags. Now I'm going to cut the uneven portion of this so this could be a perfect rectangle. Now I'm gonna take these wooden planks that I got from the Dollar Tree and I'm trying to make this longer, so I'm gonna be adding 3 on each side, and it was still not covering the whole thing, so I'm gonna be cutting a little bit more at the bottom of this side to make it even with the planks. Once I figure out how much I need to cut, I will take it outside and use my hacksaw to cut the pieces that need to be cut so we can have a perfect rectangle. To glue my wooden planks together, I will be using popsicle sticks, and I would suggest you glue them horizontally because I did mine vertically and I have to go back and fix that because the wooden planks were bending. So I would suggest you do them horizontally so your piece could be safe and good to go. And once I am done doing that, I will move on to painting. I will be using this white chalk paint that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I will be painting this whole thing white. And now it's time to let it dry. Now I want to create a shiplap look, and I will be using a black marker, and basically I will be tracing exactly where the wooden planks meet, and then I will be creating another line on each wooden plank, if that makes sense, so I can have 2 on each of them, and now I have 6. And now I'm going to move on to painting this wooden rod black. I will leave the measurements in the in the description box. Okay, to hang my wooden rod, I'm going to be using this picture frame holder that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I've had it for a while, and I'm going to be removing 2 of the little hook looking things. I hope that makes sense. You'll see in a second these 2 things that came off, and I will be using those as holders. Now I'm going to be taking my pencil and marking exactly where I want each of them to be and making sure that they're even on both of the sides. To create the hole, if you don't have a drill, you could use a screw and a screwdriver and screw the hole in there, or screw the screw, I guess, in there, and then unscrew it, and that would create a hole, which is what I did here. And then I just kind of twisted the screwdriver a little bit more just to make sure that the metal part was going to fit. And once I have the holes created, I'm gonna turn it around, and I will be adding a lot of glue where the hook sticks on the back to make sure that it's gonna stay in place and secure, and just make sure that they are even and so they don't glue and they're uneven. And then to hang my little planter holder, I will be using these twine rope, and I will be adding some hot glue, and I would be using a popsicle stick to glue that as well on top of the rope. And on the ends of these rope, I created knots just to make sure that there's not gonna be sliding or anything. And to double secure it, I just added a whole lot of more hot glue, and we're good to go. Now it's time to move on to the start of this show, and it's these buckets that the Dollar Tree carries now. I own the taller skinnier ones, which are really cute too. I just haven't come up with an idea of how I can use them, but then I saw these ones. They're shorter and wider, which I really love, and after a lot of googling and pinteresting, I came up with this idea, and I love how these turned out. I just used some twine rope and created some hooks, as you saw, and now they're good to go. They're so easy to slide in the wooden dowel, and there you go. And FYI, I bought 3 of them, but one of them for some reason was smaller than the others, which ended up working out anyway. I really love how they look. Now it's time to move on. I wanted to add some wording onto this sign, and I decided to go for Farmhouse. And also, by the way, these stickers are from the Dollar Tree, and I love them. I created so many things with them. They are so well made. and I love them. But anyway, once I figure out that the word was straight, then I started sticking them under. And here is a picture of the end result. I love how this DIY turned out. And by the way, those flowers are also from the Dollar Tree. I love this. Let me know what you think. To create this really cool sign, I'm going to use 6 of these Dollar Tree coasters, and I'm going to remove the wrapper. Once I have that off, I'm going to be using this white chalky paint and painting the words first. I'm going to give it a couple of layers just to make sure that they are all covered up. And once the words are already covered up and dry, I'm going to give it another layer of white paint on top of that, and that should be good. Once I have that ready to go, I am going to move on to grabbing some of this brown acrylic paint from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to add a little bit of black to it just to make it a little darker. And I'm going to be distressing my little squares. FYI, you could also use the square wooden planks that the Dollar Tree has to create this sign. I decided to go for the coasters because I like how they look better. They're smaller as well, and I don't know, it was just my preference, but those would work as well. To create the frame for my sign, I'm going to be using this wood that I already had on hand, but originally I was going to use the wooden planks, the rectangular wooden planks, but my local Dollar Tree didn't have any, and I went there a few times and I really wanted to create this, so I decided to use this. This piece of wood was a couple of dollars from Lowe's, and it's 8 feet tall, and I really think it's a good deal, and I feel like this specific sign looks really good with this wood, but it would be up to your preference on what you want to use. Anyway, basically what I'm doing here is marking exactly where I need to cut my pieces of wood to fit my frame. And once I had that figured out, I took it outside and trim it with my hacksaw, and then I brought them back inside. Now I'm putting all my pieces where they need to go, and I will be using hot glue to glue my pieces together. As you can see now, I'm adding some hot glue, and I will be gluing all my 4 pieces together and making sure that they're not gonna go anywhere. I do decide to go back and use some nails, you would see in a second, but this worked good because it made it stick together, and when I went to do the nails on there, as you can see now, they were moved or anything, so that was great. This was just for extra support and security. Now to stain my wood, I use the exact same paint I used to distress my little squares, and it ends up looking really good. I'm telling you, Dollar Tree brown paint has saved me many times. Just add a little bit of black to make it darker, and there you have it. This is what it looks like. I think it looks really good. Okay, now I'm moving on to using popsicle sticks because I'm going to be using that on the back of my little coasters to hold them in place, and I'm going to turn it around and put my little pieces there just to see exactly where I need to glue my popsicle sticks. I use different techniques just to see what it would work. Here's what I did first. I glue the top and the bottom of these popsicle sticks, and as you can see, I'm using the coasters at the bottom to see exactly where each popsicle stick needs to go, and then I turned it over, and then I added some hot glue to the little popsicle sticks, and then I added the coaster on top, and it works really good. There towards the end, I just added the coaster and added the glue completely on the popsicle stick, and there you have them. All the 6 coasters are glued down. All right, now I had this golden hook that I had taken off from one of the frames a while ago, and I'm gonna use that as the hanger, and I'm just gonna nail it in there. All right, now I'm gonna take the same Dollar Tree words, and I'm going to create the word family, and we are almost done. Basically the same technique. I just make sure that they are all even before I stick them all the way down, and this is what it's looking like. I am so proud of this sign. You don't even know how happy I am because I envisioned it and it came out way better than what I thought. And here is a picture of the end result. Also, those frames, I created them on my last video. You might want to check that out as well. The link will be in the description box. To create this adorable tray, I will be using some Dollar Tree canvas as well as this glass candle holder. As the bottom of my tray, I'm gonna be using the thicker canvas and the skinnier canvas. The skinnier is going to be glued on the top because, as you know, canvases are only framed on the edges, so that by itself is not going to work because anything that I try to sit on there will sink or move around. And so I grabbed the skinnier one and I'm going to glue it right on top. Now that I have that glued into place, I'm going to take this puzzle game that I grabbed from the Dollar Tree, and no, I'm not going to play with it. I'm going to be using this for legs because why not? I'm going to be picking 8 of them and just making sure that the little sticks that they have are even, because some of them are slightly taller than others. And now it's time to move on to painting, and I will be using my trusty white chalk paint, and I'm going to paint my candle holder as well as my soon-to-be legs. And once they are done, completely covered in white paint and they are dry, I will be using the same brown paint that I used throughout the video to distress my table and my candle holder and all the legs, just to make sure that they all look like it's one piece and they go together. Now that my legs are dry, I'm gonna start by gluing them into place, and I'm just gonna make sure I put everything where it needs to go. And now I'm gonna take my trusty glue gun and I'm gonna start gluing that down. And by the way, I want to thank my best friend Gabby because she gifted me this glue gun for Christmas, and I couldn't be more happy. Thank you so much, Gabby. You know I love you. I really appreciate your gift. And as you can see, it's coming in very handy. I really like it. Thank you so much. Okay, so I almost forgot of this step, but I remember because I was building it and I was like, wait a minute, I'm missing a piece. I'm taking one of these smaller canvases and that will be the top of my little tray, and I'm distressing it as well with some of the same paint. Now I'm gonna take my glass candle holder and I'm just making sure that it's going to be centered in the middle before I glue it down, marking with a pencil exactly where it needs to sit, and then I'm gonna add a lot of hot glue on there to secure it in place. Once I have all the glue on there, I will be gluing it exactly where I marked, and there you have that part. Now I'm gonna add some glue on the top, and you could mark as well the top tray just to make sure that you sit it in the right place. I didn't, but I just kind of wing it and it worked out. And I did use that other canvas to make sure it was gonna be straight as well as even to the bottom tray. Okay, so this is sort of a bonus. I found these really adorable and cute vases. To me, the taller vases look like milk bottles, so I took them outside, spray painted them white as well as the smaller one, and I took my black marker and decided to write on them, on one sweet, on the other one home. And I've seen many of them on Pinterest and I love them, but this is, I guess, a cheaper version of how you can make them. And for this smaller one, I just added some twine rope and created a little cute bow. I think they look really cute, and I don't know, I'm just in love with them. Here is a picture of how the tray and the vases turned out. By the way, those flowers are also from the Dollar Tree, which I really love. I cannot decide on which one is my favorite, but you leave a comment down below letting me know which one was your favorite DIY if you're going to be trying any of them. Also, don't forget to subscribe, give my video a thumbs up, and I will see you on my next DIY. Bye!